society. But children that are raised in same-sex families or single parent homes, that sort of thing, they're at a real disadvantage. The odds are in the favor of them becoming criminals or being a burden upon the state, that sort of thing. What a shame. Now there's some that are successful, but as a whole, they're not. We need to have marriages that stay together and raise their own children. That's the basic building block of our society, of our country, of our culture. Not same-sex marriage. If you have same-sex marriage, then you're having the government automatically designing families where children do not have a mother or a father. They got two mothers, they got two fathers, but they don't have both. Children need a mother and a father to get a good raising, to get inputs from both, because each sex has a contribution to make to the raising of the child. And when you have same-sex couples, there's something missing. There's a link missing there. That's right. God hasn't designed it that way. We need to follow God's blueprint. You know, when you follow God's blueprint, you won't be wrong. You can believe the Bible. Believe God's word. Let's protect our families. Then the last argument is participants in same-sex relationships deserve to have their relationships approved, endorsed, validated, licensed by our state government, just like everyone else. No, they don't. We got some arguments there why that's not true. In homosexual monogamous relationships, what they consider marriage or union or whatever, they average 5 to 7 additional sexual partners per year. Now that's marriage? That's monogamous? Don't think so. But they do. They have additional partners, and they consider that normal. I don't think so. That's not what God planned at all. And we need to get back to God's plan. Now, I've talked about the religious freedoms issue, so I won't dwell on it anymore, but like today at our briefing, the Catholic Conference joined us, and so they had some position papers, and they argued religious freedoms, same as we did, and that sort of thing. Here's something, and I have some of these I can leave with you as well. This is a letter written by a fellow in Massachusetts, has his children in the public school, and he explains what has happened in Massachusetts since they legalized homosexual marriages. Let me just hit a few highlights here. On November 18, 2003, the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court announced in its Goodrich opinion that it was unconstitutional not to allow same-sex marriage. So again, it was the courts in Massachusetts that decided this. Now what happened is that the legislature is a bunch of wimps in Massachusetts. Because there is such a thing in the Constitution as separation of powers. One branch of government can't order another branch of government to do something because we have the separation of powers. Each of the 3 branches of government have specific limits in what they can do. The court told the legislature they need to do something about it. And the legislature should have told the judges which pier to walk off with concrete shoes on. But they didn't. They bowed to the court and legalized it. And so that was November 2003. Less than a month later, December of 2003, this gentleman says, my own children's high school, there was a statewide assembly, or I mean a school-wide assembly to celebrate same-sex marriage. Less than a month after the court ruled it, here's a high school celebrating same-sex marriage. Why is a high school celebrating same-sex marriage? Are high school kids all married now? Last time I checked, there weren't too many kids in high school married. But here they celebrate it. See the impact it's had? What message is that sending to those children? That, hey, this is okay. It's legal now. The court said so. And so they celebrated. Within months, he says, it was brought into the middle schools. In September of 2004, an 8th grade teacher in Brookline, Massachusetts, told National Public Radio that the marriage ruling had opened up the floodgates for teaching homosexuality. In my mind, she said, I know that is okay now that it is legal. If somebody wants to challenge me, I'll say, give me a break. It's legal now. And that's the problem. The schools have to teach whatever is legal. Whether it's moral or not, it doesn't make a difference. If it's legal, they're going to teach it. It's being okay, acceptable, fine, do it, try it, you'll like it, that kind of thing. By the following year, so this would be in 2005, it was in the elementary school curriculum. So the textbooks were rewritten to promote homosexuality. Kindergartners were given picture books telling them that same-sex couples are just another kind of family like their own parents. 2005, a parent of a kindergartner strongly insisted on being notified when teachers were discussing homosexuality or transgenderism with his son. The school had him arrested and put in jail overnight for objecting to them teaching his son without notifying him first. So you go to jail in Massachusetts. Second graders at the same school were read a book called King and King about two men with a romance and married each other with a picture of them kissing. This is the kind of curriculum rewriting that goes on. There was a 2006, it says that there was a federal civil rights lawsuit to force the schools to notify parents and allow them to opt out of their elementary school's children when homosexual related subjects were taught. The federal judges dismissed the case. The judges ruled that because same-sex marriage is legal in Massachusetts, the school actually had a duty to normalize homosexual relationships to children, and that schools have no obligation to notify parents or let them opt out their children. So the acceptance of homosexuality can become a matter of good citizenship. And there's several more things. The libraries got changed. They put in the books about promoting homosexual marriages, went into all the libraries, those kinds of things. They have gay days in the Massachusetts public schools now where they celebrate being gay. How about the public health area? Commissioner of the Massachusetts Department of Health is married to another man. In 2007, he told a crowd of kids at a state-sponsored youth event that it's a wonderful being gay, and he wants to make sure there's enough HIV testing available to all of them. Since homosexual marriage became legal, the rates of HIV/AIDS have gone up considerably in Massachusetts. This year, the public funding to aid HIV/AIDS has risen by $500,000. Wasn't one of those myths that it would save state money by legalizing it? Well, here, Massachusetts, a little state, by population-wise, had increased their health budget $500,000 just to deal with AIDS. It's a one-year increase. And you could go on, there are a number of other health problems. I've already mentioned, they live shorter lives, have more health claims, et cetera, et cetera. How about domestic violence? Some of the police have told me about this too. They say that there's a lot more domestic violence among same-sex couples than among heterosexuals. That it's a big part of their workload when they get called in on domestic violence. Quite often, it's homosexuals. This says here, it was given the extreme dysfunctional nature of homosexual relations, the Massachusetts legislature has felt the need to spend more money every year to deal with skyrocketing homosexual domestic violence. This year, $350,000 was budgeted, up from $100,000 last year, just to deal with domestic violence, homosexual. How about the businesses? We talked about insurance, about the wedding industry, about other businesses will be tested for their tolerance of homosexual marriages and benefits. The legal profession. The lawyers now have to study homosexual relations and same-sex marriage issues because that's now on the bar exam. And he quoted one